and welcome to my channel. My name is Savannah and I talk about motherhood, postpartum, birth. So far, I only have like 2 or 3 videos up, but today I'm going to be talking about pregnancy swelling, ways to prevent it, ways to reduce it, and I'm going to be going over 5 things. I have my notes here. There used to be a time that I could probably remember all of this, but now that is not the case. Also, disclaimer, I do not usually look like this. Matthew and I are going on a date later, and I thought it would be the perfect time to film a video since I actually look presentable. Usually I don't. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Tip number 1 is, and tip number 2 are kind of, they go hand in hand. So tip number 1 is to move your body, and tip number 2 is to drink water. Now, the reason that these two, I kind of combined them, is because they really work best together. So as far as tip number 1, moving your body, I cannot tell you, sorry, I keep looking down here just because I don't want to miss any points. It's so important to move your body. And the reason why is because your lymphatic system is, and another disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I'm not an OB. I am literally just a stay-at-home mom, and these are things that I've learned from my own experience, so take all of this with a grain of salt, which we'll actually be talking about sodium later. But anyway, back to tip number 1, move your body. This is so important because your lymphatic system plays a huge role in helping filter that extra fluid out of your body and pump it out. But the thing is that your lymphatic system doesn't actually have a pump the way your cardiovascular system does. So with your cardiovascular, your blood, your heart is the pump, whereas with your lymphatic system, it relies on movement, and that's why it's so important. That's why a lot of the swelling ends up pulling in your ankles and your feet, and moving and getting that pumping out up into your lymphatics so that way you can excrete it is huge in preventing swelling. Now, from my own personal experience, I prefer doing this in the morning. I like going on walks. Walks are a wonderful way, even just jogging in place, doing whatever you can just to get everything moving as early in the day as possible, because I find that as the day goes on, especially if you're in the middle of summer or you live in a hot climate, that fluid ends up building in your ankles and your feet, and it gets harder to move that, which is why I said it's best to start this as soon as possible. With my first daughter, I waited until I had swelling to try to do these things, and they don't work as great. You really want to stay ahead of it. And so moving your body is really important. Talk to your OB about what is appropriate for you and your pregnancy. Don't start anything new. This isn't the time to start jogging or anything like that if you haven't already been doing that. Another thing that I do, especially this stage in the game where energy is pretty limited, is I actually set a timer on my phone to move every hour. And I also have a Fitbit, and that helps me too. But just getting up, I walk in place for 3 to 5 minutes. I'll do some squats, just do something to help move that fluid. And number 2 is to drink an adequate amount of water. Now, if you get online and you start researching on ways to prevent or ways to reduce swelling, they all say to drink more water. And I want to be careful in how I word this, because yes, you need to drink fluids, but that is best paired with movement if you're trying to reduce swelling. Because if you already have a lot of fluid in your body, adding more to it isn't really going to help flush it out unless you're moving your body. Of course, don't stop drinking your fluids to try to reduce the swelling, but that's why I said that 1 and 2 go best hand in hand. Whatever amount of water is appropriate for you, you can research that. You can talk to your doctor, you can talk to your OB. I shoot for about a gallon of water a day, but that's not something that's abnormal for me. I've been drinking a gallon of water a day for years, and so I just maintain that. But drinking fluids is really important in helping reduce your swelling and prevent it, specifically if it's combined with movement. And number 3, this is going to be helpful if you have current swelling, but it is also wonderful to help prevent it, and that's elevating your feet above the heart. So it's also important that you don't lay on your back for extended periods of time once you get into the 2nd trimester. So a good way to do this is to sit on the couch or sit in bed and then have your feet really, really elevated. I actually used my birthing ball for this. I haven't had to do a lot of elevation yet, but that's another helpful tip if you have active swelling that you're trying to treat. But I'm sure that it would be good if you're also just trying to prevent pregnancy swelling as well. And number 4 is to watch your sodium intake. This is something that I did not do in my first pregnancy, but I have been doing in my 2nd. And I'm not super strict with this. It's just something that I monitor. So like, for example, today Matthew and I are going to go eat Mexican because I've been craving that chimichanga. And I haven't really eaten anything with high sodium today because I know that I'm gonna have a pretty high sodium meal later. So like, I made eggs and I've just made a couple of meals throughout the day that I did not add any extra salt to. So that's just something to keep an eye on. The reason being is because sodium, whenever you eat a lot of sodium, your body tends to hold on to extra fluid, and so that's why it's a good idea to keep an eye on it. Again, do your research. I don't want to give I don't even have a specific number that I try to stick to with my sodium, but it's just something that I am mindful of. And number 5 is to dry body brush. I did this towards the end of my first pregnancy. I had insane swelling. It was so bad. My mom was actually concerned that my skin was going to split. I was concerned that it was. That's probably really gross. I probably should have given like a graphic warning. But I had such horrible swelling. It was so uncomfortable, and it was just awful. And so I did the dry body brushing towards the end, but like I said before, it's really important if you're wanting to prevent swelling is to start as early as you can, because once I got to the point where I was really uncomfortable and I had a lot of swelling, there wasn't a whole lot that I could do to significantly reduce it. Now, this time I have done dry body brushing since I was doing it before I found out that I was pregnant. I do it every single day, and there's so many videos online that you can watch about it. It's just very good for you. The benefits are amazing. But circulation is one of the benefits, and helping move that fluid up towards the lymph nodes, up towards the heart, and it can really help with a lot of things. It can help flush out toxins, extra fluids, and things like that. So that concludes my 5 points. I hope that this helps you, because pregnancy swelling is so not fun. I am so thankful that this time I haven't had any, and it was actually one of the biggest concerns that I had when I got pregnant again, and I knew I was going to be pregnant. I live in an area where we get pretty hot summers, and really wanted to avoid that as much as possible. So these things have helped me so much. I don't really have any swelling. With my first, I had swelling literally in my face. I was puffy everywhere, my arms, my calves, everywhere. It was just, I had so much fluid and so much swelling. So I hope that this helps you, and I hope that this is able to offer you some relief, and best of luck. Let me know if you have any tips that could help others or help me, because I still have a ways to go. I still have around 9 weeks, and the heat of the summer hasn't even gotten here yet. So maybe I'll do an update and see if these helped through the throes of the summer. So thank you so much for watching.